Antônio Carlos, de novo. Por que o Phil Spector foi chamado para trabalhar em Let It Be? Queria saber, lembrar um pouco dessa época, o que é que houve?
What do you want me to say about Phil Spector? They want to know why he.
By the time, você quer saber alguma coisa daquela época?
O que é que houve?
I always admired Phil Spector's productions. I thought he was terrific. I thought some of the stuff he did in the early days was great. You know, The Righteous Brothers, Lost That Loving Feeling, fantastic, marvelous production. But what happened with Let It Be is that John went through his stage. John was going through a very, very difficult stage during Let It Be. He was into heavy drugs. And he was into heavy Yoko Ono. He said when we made Let It Be, the original idea of Let It Be was a very, very good one, which never happened. The original idea of Let It Be was, let's do an album. Never been done before. Let's do an album of completely new songs. We'll rehearse very well. We'll get them all together, get it really together as a group, and then we'll go out and give a performance in front of 100,000 people. And that performance will be our record. That was the idea. But the problem was we were right in the middle of an English winter, and there was no way that we could perform to a lot of people in the open air, that's for sure, and there was no auditorium big enough in those days to hold a lot of people. We thought of going to make the album in California, but if we did that we would have lost money to the unions over there. And we even actually considered going to Morocco and taking fans with us. I mean, we had some crazy ideas. But all along with this, the Beatles were having rows. They were fighting amongst each other. I mean, there was one day, when John and George actually hit each other. John's demands with Yoko. When Yoko was ill, he insisted on bringing her into the studio, and she lay there in her bed in the studio while we were making a record. So it was a pretty crazy time. Anyway, we started making the album, and John said, I don't want any of your production stuff here. I want this to be an honest album. He didn't want me to do a pepper. He wanted it to be an honest album. I said, what do you mean by an honest album? He said it will be a live album. We perform the thing properly as a group, and you record it, right? And that's all we do. We don't edit it, we don't overdub vocals, we don't add any instruments, we don't have any of your crazy effects. We make an honest album. I said, okay, if that's the way you want it, that's what we'll do. So we started recording. And of course, they'd become so used to our production techniques that they really didn't do a very good job. So that every track we did, there was something that wasn't quite right. Maybe it was a bass note, maybe it was a voice, maybe it was a guitar chord. There was always one take that wasn't quite perfect. In the old days, we'd just say, well, that's okay, it's a good take, we'll fix that bit. But no, I couldn't do that. So, that was how the album came to be made. And when I went to put it together with Glyn Johns, my engineer, the only way I could make a decent album of it was to make it like a documentary, with having all the noises, all the count-ins and all the fade-outs, like an eavesdropping on a session. But I wasn't very happy with it, because they were very good songs. I wasn't very happy with what we'd done. And I said, well, I don't want to do this again. If I can produce it like we used to, yes, but you've got to accept it. And they said, we will accept it. So we went back and we made Abbey Road. And Abbey Road was that album. After Abbey Road, some time passed, and Paul rang me one day and said, do you hear what John's done? I said, no, what's happened? He's taken all those Beatles tapes that we did with Let It Be, and he's taken them to America and he's given them to Phil Spector to produce an album. I was shocked. And we then found out what he'd done. And he'd overdubbed the voice, and he'd edited the tracks, and he'd added choirs and orchestras, and did all the things he said he wasn't going to do. And so Paul and I were pretty angry about it. But that was John at that time. And he changed again after that. He got out of that bit, and he became really nice again. Sorry it's such a long answer, but it was a big question.